Well, thanks for staying with us. This is Firecrackers. Wherever you're watching from around the world, we are live from our studios here in Lagos, Nigeria. Now, let's focus a bit on Nigeria's economy plus insecurity. Well, great news indeed, as we are thankfully out of recession, as figures reports say figures from the NBS show that Nigeria's gross domestic product for the fourth quarter 2020 grew by 0.11%, indicating an exit from recession. What exactly does that mean for Nigerians? I mean, coming in an era of COVID-19 where the pandemic indeed has affected a lot of lives and businesses. Let's, of course, welcome our guests tonight from Abuja, the nation's capital. My brother and friend is standing by. Ubong Esu, an accountant. He is also a financial expert, finance controller rather, with Whistle Real Estate. Ubong Esu, thank you so much for joining us tonight. We also have here in Ota, Ogun State, the national coordinator of Shibajo Farmers Frontiers at Demola Oyetunji. He also joins us tonight on the program, as well as in Southampton, the United Kingdom, a chartered economist is also standing by, the MD and CEO of Honey Treat Limited, Samson Shoyebi. Gentlemen, thank you so much for coming through tonight. I'm sure I would like to begin the conversation tonight. Let's get this conversation going. First of all, in the United Kingdom, Shoyebi, if we can just get your initial thought. How are you receiving the news of Nigeria's exits from recession in the UK, where you are as a chartered economist?
Okay, so first and foremost, it's any growth as regards the economy is a good one. I give it to the economic team supporting Nigeria with a lot of innovative activities that has brought about this growth. And at this very point, coming out of recession with the COVID and all, and reduction in crude oil sales and all, us experiencing a growth is actually commendable, and I give it to the government and also the economic team. But going beyond this, I must also say that we shouldn't limit ourselves to just the growth within the country. We should also look at the Western society and our neighbors. How are they faring in terms of economic positivity or growth? But to an average person, the question you're asking is, what does this growth, what does it mean to an average man on the road, on the streets? You know, as much as this growth should have impacted an average person on the road, sadly, it won't have so much impact, because what this economic increase was supposed to mean was supposed to mean that it accrues to food on their tables. A lot of Nigerians are actually living below the poverty line, and you look at it, what does it mean to them? It might not have as much impact as they would have been expecting, because when we talk about this growth, expectation is that growth is supposed to mean food on the table, but sadly that is not the case.
Ubong, let's see if we can get your views again. Do you agree with Samson? Ubong, if you can hear me loud and clear, do you agree with Samson that this growth will not probably even have any significant impact on the average Nigerian? Ubong Esu?
Okay, it's a very welcoming idea, in as much as it's a welcoming idea, but we should not forget about the fact that starting out of recession, there will be an sustainable inflationary inflation on the pressure of consumer purchasing power in the coming months. Inflation currently is at 16%. Food inflation, which really affects the common man, is at 20.5%. So something has to be done, first of all, to curb inflation before we start talking about what's to benefit the common man. Of course, border closure, insecurity, and other factors cause the high inflation. But the positive fact is that borders have been now open, and we're beginning to see things moving on in the second quarter. So firstly, we need to tackle the inflation. I quite understand that existing recession is a sustainable and modest recovery method. But I mean, first of all, we need to tackle inflation. When this is done, then business will spring up again. Then we'll begin to see people earning more and also spending more. So yes, it's a welcoming innovation, it's a welcoming news, it's a welcoming idea. So let's see what happens moving ahead in the second and the third quarter.
Okay, well, thank you so much for your opening thoughts. Ademola Oyetunji in Ota, Ogun State. Ademola, you are a farmer. So what does this mean to you and many other farmers here in Nigeria precisely, Ademola?
Well, for me, it's a good thing, it's a good news that, of course, now that on paper, that Nigeria is out of recession. So, and I give kudos to the economic team headed by the VP. But to half a Nigerian, like my other brother just said, it does not translate anything. It doesn't mean anything to them yet. And to me, as head of farmers and as a farmer, we still have a long way to go as a nation, because a lot of factor is affecting farming business. And if a nation is not food secure, that is, if the agricultural sector of the economy is not anywhere to go, that is a lot of problems. So we are facing, as farmers, we are facing a lot of challenge now. Issues of security, insecurity is there, and a couple of other factors. Of course, the government has been doing. Hello?
Well, I think that's a good place to leave it. Let me go around my second round of questions now very, very quickly. If you may, gentlemen, well, as we look at Nigeria's exit from recession and the effect on Nigeria's economy as well as other sundry issues. Samson, if you are back with us, well, there was growth in agriculture, amazingly, and telecommunications. What sectors do you think the Nigerian government probably needs to begin to pay urgent attention to with this amazing growth?
Okay, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Samson. Go ahead with your thoughts, please.
Awesome. So, surprisingly, services actually recorded fantastic growth in this last quarter. And that tells you that Nigeria has one of the biggest potentials, which is in its people, beyond the natural resources that we have been putting in effort. Services actually recorded fantastic, even beyond agriculture. Even though agriculture has potentials, but insecurity actually reduced the potency of that potentials. So we are seeing that services have tendencies. Services, when you look at telecommunication, when you look at health, and you look at all services accruing economic activities, Nigeria can actually put in efforts into ensuring that we develop capacity, human capacity, looking at increasing the quality of manpower we provide in terms of services, in terms of like construction services, telecommunication, day-to-day on services that accrue revenue on a daily basis. These are things that actually, if you focus, might actually accrue substantial increase. So I seriously believe that looking at services and agriculture is the best potential, where our best lot.
All right, Samson, let me take this conversation now to Abuja again, where Ubong is standing by. Ubong, as an accountant, is this a position of view you share as well, especially as the country recorded growth in agriculture and telecommunications? Do you think the government needs to begin to shift focus away for a moment, if possible, from the oil sector?
Of course, definitely. If you look at the trend of Nigeria for the past years now, over dependency on oil got us where we are today, and we can't deny that fact. Why crude contributes less than 10% of the country's GDP, It accounts to 60% of the total revenue and 90% of the foreign exchange earnings. Just imagine the numbers. If we can put in the agriculture and communication to that number, so you know what the economy of Nigeria will be. The non-oil economy expanded by 1.7% from the year earlier, the strongest rate that's ever been for the past 4 quarters. In fact, if we have seen we've seen a recovery in the non-oil sector, which is very positive. That's putting in the agriculture and the telecommunications together. So I believe government should really focus on the positivity, thereby contributing to the economic growth, foreign exchange rate, government revenue, and most importantly, employment generations. Because if we really tackle the agriculture, put everything we have just together with the crude as well and the telecommunication, we will grow the economy and possibly grow employment for our generation. So that's what the government should tackle moving forward to try and curb the recession from coming back.
All right, gentlemen, we will speak very briefly about if you think that this administration has the potential to turn things around economically. But let's begin now. Let's shift the focus a bit and just talk about agriculture and security. I would like to begin with the farmer in our midst, Ademola in Ogun State. You mentioned earlier that it does appear the farmers are no longer safe anymore. But share with us your experience. How has this issue of insecurity, which has consistently been a major challenge here in Nigeria from different geopolitical zones, been a challenge for the agricultural sector, especially now that there are reports of food security?
Thank you once again. Well, like I said, security has been one of the major, actually not the only challenge that we have as farmers. We have other challenges because agriculture has gone beyond cutlass and hoe. So then regarding security, well, we still have that challenge. It's something that is so glaring. Now, like Mr. Ubong and my other discussants has really highlighted, if Nigeria can focus more on how to make agriculture more accessible to people. As a matter of fact, I have a couple of farmers that cannot access their farm as I speak, in some parts of the country, not only in south, not only in the south or southwest, even in the northern parts, who are my members, and they cannot access their farm because of insecurity. Somewhere in Benue, my farmers cannot even, we are supposed to start a project now, farming, cropping some item, the place is not accessible. So this is a challenge. Now, moving from insecurity, if the nation can concentrate on agriculture alone can produce millions of jobs, and they can give a lot of people jobs. And moving from that agriculture, when I say agriculture, for Nigeria to achieve its potential and to have what we call balance of trade and balance of payment, we have to do more of adding value to agricultural produce. How many manufacturing companies do we have processing agriculture produce to semi-finished good or finished good and export? Because if we don't export, we might still not get to where we expect in the international market. Our naira will continue to diminish the more.
Ademola, because we are seriously pressed for time, we need to begin to wind down on our conversation tonight.